Ever pulled over at the edge of a lake and just stopped talking? That's the kind of moment we're chasing today. America has thousands of lakes, but only a handful come with a drive as good as the destination. These are 10 road trips where the water is the whole point. The shoreline curves, the pull-offs, the towns that grew up around them. Let's get into it. Number 10, Lake Chelan, Washington. Start in Chelan and follow South Lakeshore Road toward 25 Mile Creek. This is a 55-mile-long glacial lake wedged into the North Cascades, over 1,400 feet deep, deeper than Lake Superior. The water is that unreal turquoise you'd expect somewhere in the Alps. The drive is about 18 miles of shoreline, slow going in the best way. You'll pass orchards, small wineries, and half a dozen turnouts where the mountains drop straight into the water. Stop at Lake Chelan State Park for the easiest swimming access. The beach shelves gently, and the water warms up nicely by July. Here's what most people miss. The road ends at 25 Mile Creek, but the lake keeps going another 35 miles into wilderness you can't reach by car. If you've got time, catch the Lady of the Lake ferry up to Steakin, a village with no road connection to the outside world. Best window is late June through September. Book lodging early. This is a well-known escape for Seattle and Spokane. Number 9, Finger Lakes, New York. 11 long, narrow lakes carved by glaciers, and the driving between them is half the appeal. The strongest loop is around Seneca Lake, roughly 75 miles, but the better trip strings together Seneca, Cayuga, and Cayuga over 2 or 3 days. Start in Watkins Glen at the southern tip. The state park there has a gorge trail with 19 waterfalls in under 2 miles. One of the best short hikes in the eastern US, and you walk behind several of the falls. Go early. By 11, the parking lot is a problem. Head north on Route 414 along the eastern shore. This stretch is dense with wineries, and the region makes some of the best Riesling in the country. Cayuga is the longest of the 11 at nearly 40 miles, and Taughannock Falls near Ithaca drops 215 feet, taller than Niagara, a 2-minute walk from the lot. Cayuga is the odd one, shaped like a Y, with the tightest, prettiest curves of the 3. Fall is spectacular here. The vineyards turn gold, and crowds thin after Labor Day. Number 8, Lake Tahoe, California and Nevada. The full loop is 72 miles and takes about 3 hours without stops, which nobody actually does. Plan on a full day. Go clockwise from South Lake Tahoe so you're on the water side through the best section. Highway 89 along the west shore is where this drive earns its reputation. Emerald Bay is the famous stop, a glacial inlet with a small island and Vikings home, a 1929 Scandinavian-style mansion at the water's edge. The hike down is a mile each way. The climb back out is the real work. Keep north to Sand Harbor on the Nevada side, which has the clearest water on the lake. Boulders scattered through turquoise shallows. It fills by 9 in the morning in summer, and they close the gates when it's full. Tahoe sits at 6,225 feet, so it stays cool even in August. If you're finding these useful, hit subscribe. We put out a new itinerary every week, and it genuinely helps the channel more than you'd think. Number 7, Flathead Lake, Montana. The largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi, with a loop of about 90 miles. Highway 35 on the east shore is the better half, running through cherry orchards, Montana's fruit belt, protected by the lake's moderating effect. Cherry season peaks in late July, and roadside stands appear overnight. Polson at the south end and Big Fork at the northeast corner are the towns worth stopping in. Big Fork has a genuinely good main street, galleries, a summer playhouse, restaurants that punch above the town's size. The real advantage of Flathead is what's north of it. Glacier National Park's west entrance is 35 miles from Big Fork, making the lake an ideal base for a day on Going to the Sun Road. That road usually opens fully in late June or early July. Check status before you commit. Number 6, Lake Superior, North Shore, Minnesota. Highway 61 from Duluth to Grand Portage is 150 miles of coastline along the largest freshwater lake on Earth by surface area. This one feels less like a lake drive and more like an ocean road. Split Rock Lighthouse is the postcard shot, 38 miles up, perched on a 130-foot cliff. The waterfalls, are the real reason to go slowly. Gooseberry Falls has 5 cascades within walking distance of the lot. Tetagouche has high falls, 70 feet, on the Baptism River. Every one of these is a short walk from Highway 61. Grand Marais near the north end is the best overnight, a working harbor town with a good bakery, and the trailhead for the Gunflint Trail heading inland. One warning: Superior does not warm up, rarely topping 60 degrees even in August. This is a looking lake, not a swimming lake. Late September gives you fall color along the whole route. Number 5. Crater Lake, Oregon. Rim Drive is 33 miles around the caldera of a collapsed volcano, and there's nothing else like it. The lake is 1,943 feet deep, the deepest in the country, fed entirely by snow and rain. No rivers in, no rivers out. That's why the blue is so intense. There are more than 30 overlooks. The ones that matter: Watchman Overlook for the classic view of Wizard Island, and Cloud Cap, the highest paved point in Oregon at nearly 8,000 feet. The Cleetwood Cove Trail is the only legal way down to the water, 1.1 miles with 700 feet of descent, and the Park Service compares the climb back to walking up a 65-story building. It's the only place you can swim or catch the boat to Wizard Island. Timing is critical. Rim Drive typically doesn't fully open until early July and can close by late October. Check the park's road status before you drive. Number 4. Lake Michigan Shoreline, Michigan. M22 from Manistee north to Northport, then south to Traverse City, is about 116 miles, the best lake drive in the Midwest. Sleeping Bear Dunes is the anchor. The Pierce-Stocking Scenic Drive is a 7.4-mile loop with the Lake Michigan overlook at Stop 9, a 450-foot sand bluff dropping straight to the water. There are signs warning you not to run down, and every year people ignore them and need rescue. The dune climb is the other stop, a 110-foot wall of sand you can actually go up. North of the dunes, M22 wraps around the Leelanau Peninsula through Glen Arbor and Leland, whose fish town is a preserved commercial fishing village. Weathered shanties still partly working. Traverse City is the practical base with the most lodging and food. The water is warmest in August, around 70 degrees, which is generous for a Great Lake. Number 3. Lake Powell, Utah and Arizona. Highway 89 and Highway 95 approach from different angles, and the drive through southern Utah to get there is arguably better than the lake itself, which is saying something. Coming into Page, Arizona, you get Horseshoe Bend and Antelope Canyon within a few miles of each other. Horseshoe Bend is a 1.5-mile round-trip walk to a 1,000-foot cliff above a sweeping curve in the Colorado, with no railing along most of the rim. Antelope Canyon requires a Navajo-guided tour booked well in advance, often weeks. Powell has more shoreline than the entire west coast of the continental U.S., because the reservoir fills hundreds of side canyons. One important note: water levels have dropped in recent years, and some launch ramps have closed. Check current conditions with Glen Canyon National Recreation Area first. Spring and fall are far more comfortable than summer, when it regularly tops 100 degrees. Number 2. Lake Champlain, Vermont, and New York. Route 2 through the Champlain Islands is about 30 miles of causeways and bridges connecting South Hero, Grand Isle, North Hero, and Isle Lamont. Water on both sides for long stretches, with the Green Mountains behind you and the Adirondacks across the way. Isle Lamont is the quiet one, home to the Chazy Fossil Reef, one of the oldest exposed reefs in the world at roughly 480 million years. You can see fossilized coral in the rock at the Fisk Quarry Preserve. Burlington on the mainland is the natural base, with a waterfront bike path running 8 miles north along an old rail bed, including a causeway pushing 3 miles into the lake. Cross to New York on the Charlotte-Essex Ferry for a 20-minute ride, and views you can't get from land. Fall is the main event here. Peak color usually lands in the first 2 weeks of October. Number 1. Jenny Lake and Jackson Lake, Wyoming. Teton Park Road, roughly 20 miles inside Grand Teton National Park, is the most dramatic lake drive in America. The Tetons rise straight from the valley floor with no foothills, a 7,000-foot wall of granite reflected in the water. Jenny Lake Scenic Drive is a one-way, 4-mile loop facing Cascade Canyon. Take the shuttle boat across to save 2 miles of walking, Then hike a half mile to Hidden Falls and another half up to Inspiration Point. Jackson Lake to the north is larger, and Signal Mountain Summit Road climbs 800 feet in 5 miles for a panoramic view over the whole valley. Oxbow Bend is the photograph everyone knows. Mount Moran mirrored in a still section of the Snake River. Sunrise is the moment, and in fall, the elk are usually bugling. Wildlife is genuinely abundant. Moose, bison, bears, so carry spray on trails and keep your distance. Late May through September is the practical season, with color in late September and crowds dropping off after Labor Day. That's the list. If you had to pick one lake to drive around this year, which would it be? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.